Dear talented deciders, my name is Melvin Boskin. I live at 42 Dorset Lane, Babylon, New York, 11702, 5874680. I am 95 years old. I have been a comedian and I have been a magician for many years. I have recently thought of a very clever, very entertaining, and very comedic, routine for your program, particularly for your program, and it would fit beautifully. Now, it is clever, it is bright, it is very humorous, and I think your audience would love it. It does not compare with all that physical talent you have on your program. It doesn't, but it might fit in between some of these talented people. I plan on coming out onto the stage, wearing a lumbar support, an elastic bandage around my knee, and looking a little disheveled, and I'm going to be saying, you put a microphone around my neck, because I'm going to come out with a walker. So I'm going to shuffle out my walker and says, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late, and then I'm going to come back to the bottom. I'm going to say, before you ask any questions, let me explain why I'm late. When I was waiting backstage, I was so excited to come out here to perform that I fell asleep. Now, they woke me up from my nap, and they said, I'm ready to go out. However, I had a problem. Problem was, I had to pee, take a leak. So I got my walker and I shuffled out. Now, taking a leak when you're 95 years old is sometimes an adventure, frequently a hit and miss situation. However, I shuffled my way out to the bathroom. Now, I did my business, and when I stood up, I looked down, and my shoes were wet. I couldn't figure how did my shoes get wet, but I figured out probably how my shoes got wet. So I went to reach for some toilet paper to wipe my shoes, and it was a new roll. I had a problem. It was a new roll of toilet paper, and I couldn't find the beginning of the toilet paper. So after a little while, I jabbed it with my finger, and I took the wallpaper, and I dried my shoes. Then it took me about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to stand up straight, upright. And then I got in my walker, and I rushed out here. So I'm sorry I'm late. Sorry about that. Now, before I get started, before you ask me any questions, I've been enjoying this program for 20 years. I know all the questions. So if you don't mind, I'll do some of the questions. But before I do the questions, I want to thank the audience, the studio audience, for coming here today, And I want to thank you for yes judges. I want to thank you yes judges, for inviting me. Now, one of the first questions you ask of performers is, what would you do if you won $1 million? Well, if I won $1 million, I would give some money to my family, I would give some money to my friends, and the rest of the money I would give to the studio audience. Now, that's going to be a big one. I'm going to say to this guy, I'm going to say to the four yes judges, is it okay if they vote tonight? If they vote, That I'm going to say. Now, one of the first questions you ask, what's your name? Okay, and where did you live? So my birth name was Melvin. Melvin. Not Melvin, just Melvin. Plain Melvin. And I lived in a faraway land called Brooklyn. So when I lived in Brooklyn, I lived in a neighborhood that all the streets were alphabetically arranged. Avenue A, Avenue B, Avenue C, Avenue D, all the way down to Avenue Z. Now, I lived on Avenue O. Now, the big problem I had living on Avenue O, the big problem was I had to walk one block from O to P. It's a joke. It's a joke. Have the kids explain it to you. You frequently ask, I ask about my name. My name is the not so great Melvoni, and I didn't start with that name. When I started entertaining, I called myself the great Melvoni, not the not so great. But after a few performances, some people came up and said, God, you were awful. You were bad. You were terrible. You got to change your name from great to not so great, which I did. You know what bothered me about that? People told me that were members of my family, my immediate family, and some cousins. I worked many years as an old country doctor. 50 years I worked. 50 years, and every day I made house calls to my patients, and I'm going to lift up from my bag an old doctor's bag and say, okay, I made these house calls. Now, anybody in the audience who doesn't feel well and you have medical insurance, I'll meet you backstage after the show, okay? Now, I delivered many babies. When I delivered, this is true. When I delivered a boy baby, I said to the woman, if you name your son, your baby, Melvin, I will pay for college. Okay? There are no children named Melvin in the faraway land of Brooklyn. I want to tell you now that I vaccinated all these babies, and none of them got sick, and none of them got autism. That's a political statement. If you guys don't want that, I can eliminate that. Now listen, guys, this is a little long. However, if you don't mind, I want to tell you a little something. I was waiting in line last week. I'm waiting in the line in the drugstore, waiting to pick up my 72 prescriptions. When there's an old guy in front of me, I thought I'd be friendly. And I said to the old guy, how you doing, Pop? And he said, what'd you say? I yelled, how you doing, Pop? He said, how am I doing? I'll tell you how I'm doing. I can't see. I can't pee. I can't chew. Now, ordinarily, I would say I can't screw. I would say I feel the flu. My hearing stinks. I would say my pecker shrinks, but I'm going to say my prostate shrinks. No sense of smell, and I look like hell. The golden age has come at last. The golden age can kiss my flat ass. And I said to the guy, that sounds very funny. The guy, I says, can you repeat it? And he said, repeat what? Before you vote, yes, judges, before you vote, 3 things. Number 1, no golden buzzer. They have a golden buzzer with a hole on it. Because my 94-year-old heart and my pacemaker, which I'm going to have hanging out, okay, will explode. Number 2, when you vote yes, they have to vote yes, or else they took you. Shake your head and yell yes loud, because I'm deaf also. Number 3, please do it quickly and vote quickly because I have to go to the bathroom again. Okay. And okay, I have to take a leak. So vote quickly, okay? And I'm gonna yell because the guy who takes you out there, I'm gonna yell, Terry, open the bathroom door, I'm coming out soon. And then they're gonna vote. And they're all gonna vote yes because they love it. And I'm gonna kiss them yes.